interviewing a social worker a day. Yes, for like 30 days. It feels like forever at this point, but it's been awesome to get to know so many different people. And the reason why is, we are celebrating social work month, and social work is such a dynamic profession. And I think despite all that we do, and despite it being one of the fastest growing professions, composed of some brilliant, intelligent, emotionally strong, and gifted professionals who are committed to the populations that they serve, it's still a field that's really misunderstood and undervalued. And I think within this series, we get to explore that a bit and get to see it through the eyes of some people just doing some fabulous work. So my name is Amanda Flood. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, speaker, coach, entrepreneur, curator of this audacious project here. And I'm really excited to host space with Catherine Moore, who's also a licensed clinical social worker, as well as a public speaker, a podcaster, a coach, mental health therapist. Listen, she got it all going on, honey, right?
So we do it all. We do it all over here.
Yes. Like a real social worker, I feel like we just don't do one thing. We cover it all.
Yeah. What hat am I wearing today?
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. And you're wearing it well. So welcome. And we're going to get right into it. So Catherine, what does breaking barriers mean to you?
So to me, breaking barriers is really about redefining what social work is and what our limits are, and really rising above the expectations that other people have for us. Because in this industry, it's been traditionally just like traditional jobs. I'm gonna be a therapist, right? Or I'm gonna work in the government. So really redefining what all does this growing field of social work look like for us, and I'm here for it. I love it.
I love it. And from the description of what you do, honey, you are not in the traditional realm at all. You have not limited yourself to, the traditional roles that we think about for social work, which I think is cool because you give us some new ideas of what it could look like, right? So can you tell us about your work and the evolution of social work for you, and, how you break barriers and all the things that you do?
Yeah. So the short and sweet of it is I am a podcaster, a public speaker, and a therapist. So a little non-traditional, traditional mixed in there. I love it. But as far as the podcast, it's the Social Workers Rise podcast. And I started this in January of 2020 to just break those toxic narratives that we have been getting in the social work field, as far as there's no money and just expect to be burnt out. I thought that was some BS. I'm like, I'm going to do what I can in my little bubble to change that. So that's what I do.
I love it. And I feel like that's how it starts with us. We start to like claim a bubble and we just work some magic with it. But it's cool to hear that you're showing up in a sense of like media and using your voice too, right? And so in that sense, I don't even think you're in a little bubble. You're probably in a really big bubble because you get to use a medium that gets to like reach people in so many different ways and capacities too, right?
Right, exactly. And it's another way that you can break your own barrier, because I just started out thinking I'll do my own little bubble. And as you continue to work and grow and show up, it gets bigger, like bigger than you ever thought it was. So in a way, you're breaking your own barriers.
Oh, get it. Yes. I love that. So you're pushing the envelope and you don't even know that you're pushing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ooh. And wasn't really going to go in this direction, but what do you love about change from this lens of podcasting?
The thing that comes to mind first is hope, is that there's more and more hope within the field of social work, that we're not just limited to the jobs that are going to burn us out, right? We're not limited to low pay and a toxic work environment. But with that, we are really able to expand and, like you said, push the envelope about where we're going to go, what we're going to do. And it inspires hope and creativity among change makers. And that's the part I love.
Yeah, I love that idea of creativity. I think that's been important to me in this work. I love just being creative, period. And I hope folks listening could take that away too, that you can also bring that part of yourself into this work. Because who would have thought like a social worker as a podcaster? Like what? So to be able to do that and still hold other positions, I think is pretty phenomenal in itself. I imagine in your evolution, you've had to learn a lot of skills, right? And I think the skills of social work is super transferable. And I don't know if we always recognize the work that we do, but it absolutely can translate the skills itself from one to the next, right? Like I think about like clinical assessment. We're both clinical social workers. So it's like we assess problems, we problem solve, we may have to create a treatment plan for it, right? And I think in the same way, we can use that in every aspect of our work, right? I use it for schools, right? Like, let's figure out what this problem is. How are we going to solve it, right? I use it to audit businesses from a mental health lens to create trainings that meet the needs of their staff. So like we can effectively serve people in different capacities using the skills that we have. So I'm curious for you, what have you found to be the most useful skills or the most transferable skills or the most valuable skills from your experience that might be important for another social worker?
Definitely our skills. Well, there's a couple that come to mind, but mostly our emotional intelligence and the ability to read people, relate to people, read people's emotions, and gauge our reactions based on that. Because a lot of people cannot do that. And also to the skill of resiliency, which I talk a lot about, but being able to overcome hard times. And with us being able to overcome our own hard times, we're able to then set an example and to help guide our clients through their own separate hard times, and be able to draw on that experience that we've had in helping them, guide them through their own journey.
So resilience for sure for ourselves and to be able to foster that for clients.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely. Love that. Do you feel like resilience has helped you to even just like push the envelope in terms of like what you do and what's possible in I won't say in your field, but in our field, but in the way that you've tackled the field?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because any new venture is not easy, right? There's always that learning curve. Like you said, there's so many new skills to learn with any venture. And so it's normal to face struggles and barriers that you have to sit there and be like, well, this was not expected, but what do I do? How do I get over this barrier? What tools and resources do I have that I can draw on and tap into that's going to help me get to the next level past this barrier instead of just quitting? Because I don't know about you, Amanda, but I did not come this far to get this far.
No. I was like, quitting is not in my vocabulary. I don't really know what that means, right? We're going to figure it out. But I love that we put that on the table because I think sometimes too, like we make things look real easy, especially in our field, in our profession. And I think that's also part of the reason why we have this narrative about us is because people don't get to see how much we do to kind of make things happen. So I love that you're putting it out there. Like, yeah, it's going to be hard sometimes. It's going to be challenging, but that comes with learning something new and maybe giving yourself a little bit of like space and grace with that and fostering your own like resilience to get you through that.
Exactly.
Beautiful. So finish the sentence for me. I wish people understood social workers ...
I wish people understood that social workers are amazing human beings because we do so many different things on so many different levels. Anything dealing with people, we're there. We got you. We can help in some way if you or your organization deals with people.
Brilliant. I swear everybody needs a social worker. Like, go find one.
Yes. We are here. Reach out to Amanda or me.
Yeah, like it should be mandatory.
Agreed. We should all get assigned a social worker when we start a business or we join get our first job.
Absolutely. But you got to pay them well though, because we bring a lot to the table. I'm just saying.
For sure. Definitely.
Oh, Catherine, such a pleasure, holding space with you today. I think, again, thank you for your yes to the profession. Thank you for your yes to this conversation and your continued excellence in this field, right? And I do want to leave space for you to share, like, where can people find your podcast and to share the name so that, that voice can continue to grow as well.
Definitely. I am the podcaster for Social Workers Rise podcast, and the podcast is available on all major platforms. You can find me on Instagram at Social Workers Rise, and I'm also on LinkedIn with my name, Catherine Moore, LCSW.
And we'll make sure to share that as well. But brilliant. So again, thank you, and everyone else in the profession. We see you and we thank you for all that you do. Happy social work.